Roman Reigns returning on WWE Raw tonight, things the WWE got right at Saturday night's main event, update on Ilja Dragunov's return 121 days after injury, WWE has a huge issue with ads, upsetting news on Jey Uso after his loss, WWE and AEW Stars brutally mocked, the WWE is choosing another star over Charlotte Flair, Backstage reports on nixed plans for Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. Let's dive right in. Things the WWE got right at Saturday night's main event. WWE Saturday night's main event aired last night on NBC and Peacock. The show marked the second edition of Saturday night's main event since the program returned following nearly a 20-year absence. All in all, last night's show was fantastic and arguably superior to December's edition of the Throwback event. 4 bouts were featured, each high quality or noteworthy in its own way, plus a significant segment with Cody Rhodes, Shawn Michaels, and Kevin Owens. Beyond simple in-ring quality and entertainment value, the show was exceptionally good for several other reasons. The program showcased the best talent, elevating them to new heights. Let's take a look at 4 things. World Wrestling Entertainment and Triple H got right at Saturday night's main event. This includes the push of a newer star, a top name showing how good she really is, and a main event that really delivered. Number 1. Gunther and Jey Uso delivered. The main event of WWE Saturday night's main event was a World Heavyweight Championship match. The reigning champion Gunther put his title on the line against main event Jey Uso. This was a huge win on WWE's part for a few reasons. First and foremost, the match was great. This isn't a big shocker, as Gunther always has great bouts, but some question how good Jey Uso is when the bell rings. He proved last night he can go toe-to-toe with the very best. Beyond that, the crowd was electric. They wanted a Jey Uso win, but Triple H and company officials were right in having him lose for now. One day, Jey might win the big one, but for now, Gunther's reign shouldn't be ending anytime soon. Number 2. Rhea Ripley was able to remind WWE fans how talented she is. The opening bout at WWE Saturday night's main event was also for a world title. This time, the Women's World Championship was on the line. The Eradicator Rhea Ripley put her gold on the line against the dominant and imposing Nia Jax. This bout was important, not because most WWE fans believed Nia Jax would win, although she is always a top contender. Instead, this match was important for Rhea Ripley to show off just how good she is. The extended Liv Morgan feud and injury seemingly made some fans forget. They can't forget this time, however. Rhea and Nia went out and put on a clinic. Ripley looked excellent in the ring, busting out moves she doesn't commonly do with great speed and precision. This match should shut up any lingering doubts when it comes to her in-ring ability. Number 3. Jacob Fatu was made into a main event level star. The worst match from bell to bell on the show, which was still quite good, was between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. WWE fans won't remember much about the match itself, but that's okay. It is the ending of the bout and the post-match events that matter here. Jacob Fatu began to dominate the monster of all monsters with continuous hip attacks in the corner. He nailed Braun over and over to the point where the WWE official attempted to intervene, only to be tossed out of the ring. From there, Fatu left Braun a bloody mess and hit numerous moonsaults. By the end of the segment, the fans were losing their minds and chanting Fatu, among other things. Jacob went from a star on the rise to a main eventer. It could be argued that this was the best booked segment of the entire program. Triple H cooked here. Number 1. Sheamus losing was the right call, for now. The third and final title match at WWE Saturday night's main event was for another Raw championship. The coveted Intercontinental title was on the line with Braun Breaker and Sheamus colliding. As is all too common, the two put on an absolute banger. There was little doubt of that, as Braun Breaker and Sheamus are two of the best workers in WWE and in the world. With that being said, it was the outcome of the match that made this truly a win for the evening. Sheamus lost, and he should have. This isn't because Sheamus is bad, or he shouldn't be the champion. Instead, the Celtic Warriors' big Intercontinental title win shouldn't happen until an even bigger event. WrestleMania, for example, could be the perfect place for Sheamus to finally dethrone Braun and win the prized belt. Update on Ilja Dragunov's return 121 days after his injury. Injuries are not uncommon in the world of pro wrestling, and as of this writing, WWE has a few stars on the shelf. Recently, though, there has been an update on one superstar's return, 121 days after his injury. The superstar, Ilja Dragunov. The Mad Dragon made the move to the main roster last year, joining Raw just weeks after WrestleMania 40. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury in September that forced him out of action. Dragunov suffered a torn ACL at a live event, where he faced Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. The company announced his injury the next day, and suggested that he could be out for 6 to 9 months. Now though, according to Fightful Select, he has been spotted at the WWE Performance Center in workout gear throughout the week. But the purpose of his appearance at the PC, be it training or to be evaluated, is unknown. With the Royal Rumble 2025 right around the corner, it will be interesting to see what the future holds for the 31-year-old star. Perhaps he will make his in-ring return at the event. Regardless, whenever he does make his return, he will hopefully be in top-notch condition. Prior to his injury, Ilja Dragunov was one of the hottest talents on the main roster. His explosive style of wrestling enamored many in the WWE universe, and as such saw him go toe-to-toe with the big boys almost every Monday. In fact, he was in the Intercontinental Championship picture before his unfortunate injury. Dragunov's last appearance on TV saw him participate in a fatal four-way match. Having progressed to the final of the IC title #1 contendership tournament, Dragunov was on the precipice of earning a championship match. He squared off with the likes of Jey Uso, Braun Strowman, and Pete Dunne in the final, but ultimately fell short. Main event Jey Uso came out on top, but Dragunov put in a great effort. Upon his return, he should find himself back in the same picture, especially considering he has some unfinished business with the reigning champion, Braun Breaker. The WWE has a huge issue with ads. WWE was facing major issues heading into the last match of the night between Gunther and Jey Uso at Saturday night's main event. They almost made a serious error. The last match of the night saw Jey Uso get his title shot against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, a match that Jey Uso has wanted for some time. Jey was still been unable to get the win that would get him to that world champion level that fans want for him. Instead, he put on a good show with Gunther, but in the end, it was the defending champion who hit him with 2 powerbombs and stack pinned him to get the win. There were moments when it looked like Saturday night's main event would go overtime and pass the 2-hour mark that was set for the show. Fightful Select reported that it was looking likely that it would be going overtime. In the end, though, they managed to finish the show at the top of the hour exactly. Thankfully, Uso and Gunther ended their match exactly at the 2-hour mark, bringing the show to a close at 10 p.m. EST. WWE fans went on social media to complain about too much ads. One fan stating, "The amount of ads on Naru's Enemy honestly was way too much. I thought with them getting off the TV, we would get less, but damn 5 minutes every single ad. It needs sorting out." The report also noted that there were limited rehearsals for the superstars involved before the show. Upsetting news on Jey Uso after his loss. WWE Saturday night's main event is in the history books, but fans are still reeling from its barn-burner headliner. Jey Uso had a forgettable night as he failed to win the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event. Upsetting news on the OG Bloodline member surfaced online after the show. Jey Uso unsuccessfully challenged Gunther in an edge-of-your-seat thriller, which saw the ring general endure multiple spears and the Uso splash. The Imperium leader stood tall at the end after nailing 2 consecutive powerbombs on the Yeet Master. This marked Jey Uso's 6th straight World Championship loss on television. On top of that, his defeat at Saturday night's main event means he is now 0-3 against Gunther in singles competition. Jey Uso may have lost the battle to Gunther, but the war isn't over yet. The Yeet Man isn't completely out of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship race. It's just that his path will be challenging. He will enter the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble match on February 1st. After his loss at Saturday night's main event last night, Jey addressed his immediate future and set his sights on winning the Royal Rumble match. "I just lost the match for the World Championship. Next move for Jey Uso? Man, I gotta win the Royal Rumble now, said Jey. Jey Uso will be joined by the likes of Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Drew McIntyre, to name a few. As for Gunther, it will be interesting to see what Triple H has in store for him ahead of Royal Rumble. Who will step up against the Imperium leader next? With the go-home episode of WWE Raw before Royal Rumble set to take place in Atlanta, Georgia, some fans have been buzzing about the possibility of the hometown hero and WCW legend Goldberg making an appearance. Will the man come face-to-face with the ring general? Fans must tune in this Monday to find out. WWE and AEW stars brutally mocked. WWE Hall of Famers often back each other up publicly. Amid rumors of Shawn Michaels returning to the squared circle for one more final match, a respected multi-time Hall of Famer praised HBK, while firing a loud shot at some stars in the AEW and WWE locker rooms. The outspoken veteran Bully Ray, aka Bubba Ray Dudley, once again caused a stir as only he can. Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes signed the Royal Rumble contract for their undisputed WWE Championship ladder match during Saturday night's main event 38 last night. The signing was moderated by World Wrestling Entertainment's Senior Vice President of Talent Development and Creative in front of his hometown crowd. KO began ranting after Rhodes signed his name, and this led to Michaels commenting on how Owens is jealous. The Canadian grappler erupted on Mr. WrestleMania with insults, then finally signed and shoved the contract against his chest. The prizefighter decked Cody as Michaels tried to shake hands. KO then tried to take Michaels out with a package piledriver, but the real champion stunned the fraudulent champion with a super kick as the Heartbreak Kid tuned up the band for sweet chin music. Michaels then left Owens laying to a big pop. There was a lesson to be learned here. according to Bubba Ray Dudley. The ECW legend took to X to discuss the SNME contract signing, making an apparent reference to years-long criticism of wrestlers using finishers the wrong way, with harsh flack aimed at those who use numerous super kicks. The majority of fans seem to think Bully Ray was calling out the Usos or super kick party creators, the Young Bucks, but the WWE Hall of Famer has not clarified as of this writing. Good morning. Last night on Saturday night's main event, Shawn dropped Kevin with one super kick. Yes, you read that correctly. One super kick. You see, it can be done. Have a nice day and brush your hair. Smiling face with mouth open emoji, sign of the horns emoji, Bubba Ray Dudley wrote. The Dudley boys teamed up with Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso twice, but have been on opposites of the ring in 24 matches. Team 3D has wrestled the Young Bucks on 3 occasions, with Bubba Ray and Devon Dudley leading the series 2-1 over Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson. World Wrestling Entertainment and Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling opened their own forbidden door more than 1 year ago. Now, the working relationship has expanded into a multi-year crossover partnership. Shawn Michaels is WWE's Senior Vice President of Talent Development and Creative. As head of NXT, he has worked closely with TNA in recent months. He took to X/Twitter to react to the announcement amid rumors of a WWE versus TNA Dream Match, the next evolution of an unprecedented partnership. Excited for our continued collaboration with TNA and the invaluable opportunities it presents for the development of the NXT superstars and TNA wrestling stars, Shawn Michaels wrote. The WWE is choosing another star over Charlotte Flair. WWE's creative department has recently impressed a wrestling veteran with their decision. According to the veteran Bill Apter, picking another star to push over someone like Charlotte Flair is a great choice. The star in question is Lyra Valkyria, who recently became the WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. In the final round of the tournament for the title, she faced off against Dakota Kai from Damage Control. An intense battle ensued, which saw Lyra hit Nightwing to pick up the win. Speaking about the historic WWE victory on Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Time Machine hosted by Mac Davis, Bill Apter stated, "From the day I saw her, I said this girl, she's got something special. I am surprised in a good way that they went with her, and not someone who is hugely established. You know, it could have been. Charlotte Flair could have come back and taken that title, but I am glad they did it with her. I think from her entrance to her work in the ring, to going back, I think she is a total professional, and good luck to her." Teddy Long apparently had similar views regarding the booking of the match between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Kai. Adding to Apter's comments on the same episode of The Wrestling Time Machine, the WWE Hall of Famer stated, "I kind of feel the same way. I think it's a good move. You gotta start taking these titles and putting them on brand new people. You know what I mean? If you keep switching them and putting them back on the same people back and forth, that gets stale. So to do something and try and bring up some brand new stars, I think that's the way to go, man. Congratulations to her." Backstage reports on nixed plans for Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman. WWE presented its first Saturday night's main event of 2025 this past weekend. Despite heavy star power and 3 championship matches, one of the biggest happenings and topics of discussion coming out of SNME was Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. The son of a WWE legend was involved, according to sources, who are also now disclosing what officials have had in mind for the feud. The Samoan werewolf and the monster of all monsters began doing battle on WWE SmackDown a few weeks back, and finally, they clashed at SNME 38. The match ended in a disqualification right at the 9-minute mark after Fatu unleashed a bombardment of running hip strikes to stun Strowman. Jacob assaulted the referee when ordered to stop, then ran wild with another barrage of hip strikes to Braun until the match was called in favor of the fallen big man. Fatu continued the post-match attack as Nick Aldis and other officials ran down. Solo Sikoa's enforcer took out security, then delivered his mighty moonsault as the SmackDown general manager looked on. Fans were rabid at this point, chanting, "One more time," at the carnage in the ring. Fatu obliged with another top rope finisher, then delivered a third and final mighty moonsault to satisfy the Texas crowd. Fatu and Tama Tonga then left as officials tended to a bloody, unconscious Strowman. WWE officials seemingly originally had more violence planned for the end of the Strowman versus Fatu segment. A new report from Fightful Select noted that there was a push to have Fatu destroy Strowman even more than what ended up happening. Strowman took 3 mighty moonsaults from Fatu, but word is that there were calls for Fatu to deliver even more of his top rope finishers while Strowman was down. It remains to be seen why the extended onslaught was nixed, but officials were faced with potential timing issues early on. Sources reported that SNME was initially looking like it would run long, but they ended up wrapping just in time. Pre-show rehearsals were limited, but it wasn't clear if this played a role. Fatu and Tonga were not the only generational talents involved in the SNME segment. Jesse Funaki, son of Japanese legend Shoichi Funaki, was booked for the angle as an extra, specifically a medic. The up-and-coming talent began training in 2023 and works the Texas indie scene. Jesse also worked as an extra in a segment with the Wyatt Six back in June. His father continues to work for WWE as a Japanese commentator and occasional translator for talents. Solo Sikoa returned to WWE SmackDown last week for his first appearance since losing the Tribal Combat bout to Roman Reigns on the Raw Netflix premiere. He was nowhere to be seen on Friday's episode this week. Sikoa's return was met with loud boos from the WWE universe, preventing him from speaking. The self-proclaimed new tribal chief simply dropped the mic, removed his red jacket, and exited through the crowd. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga watched Solo walk out, and have been the only new bloodline representatives since then, as Tonga Loa is out with a torn bicep. Solo is currently advertised for Friday's Go Home SmackDown and the Royal Rumble Premium Live event, but he has not been officially announced for either show. It's believed that Fatu, Tonga, and Sikoa will be in the 30-man elimination match. Reigns and Jey Uso are official for the Rumble, while Jimmy Uso is also expected. Roman Reigns returning on WWE Raw tonight? Roman Reigns has been absent from WWE since winning the Ulafala on the Raw Netflix premiere. However, tonight's edition of WWE Raw has sparked intrigue among fans, with speculation surrounding the status of the original tribal chief. Many believe the head of the table would make an appearance on this week's show. This speculation stems from the Backstage segment following Roman's Tribal Combat victory, where Paul Heyman asked Reigns for permission to schedule a date for the world to acknowledge them. The OTC responded by telling Heyman to book it, setting January 27, 2025 as the noteworthy date. This has fueled rumors of Reigns' possible return on tonight's episode of Raw on Netflix. However, as of writing, the company has not advertised Roman Reigns for this week's Raw, strongly suggesting he could remain absent. The original tribal chief is one of WWE's biggest draws. If he were scheduled to appear, Triple H would undoubtedly capitalize on the opportunity by heavily promoting his appearance to generate a buzz and sell tickets. Additionally, the tease from Roman and Heyman during the Raw Netflix debut seems more likely to relate to WWE's upcoming video game, WWE 2K25. The segment ended when Roman entered a door labeled WWE 2K25, which could hint at an announcement related to the game rather than an in-ring appearance. Fans speculated that Roman could serve as the cover star for this year's installment, adding further excitement. While a physical appearance from the tribal chief seems unlikely, fans can expect a possible WWE 2K25 announcement featuring Roman Reigns. It remains to be seen what Triple H has in store for tonight's edition of Raw on Netflix. At WWE Royal Rumble 2025, Roman Reigns is set to enter the traditional men's Royal Rumble match. The former undisputed WWE Universal Champion has his sights set on winning the Rumble and reclaiming the world title to once again carry it on his shoulders. However, in this over-the-top rope battle, Roman could potentially engage in a major showdown with his fellow OG Bloodline member, Sami Zayn. The honorary Uce has already declared his entry into the men's Royal Rumble match, aiming for victory. Sami has even put Roman Reigns on notice while making this declaration. Despite both being members of the OG Bloodline, fans may witness a massive showdown between them during the men's traditional match. Additionally, Roman is rumored to clash with CM Punk at WrestleMania 41. A major development regarding this feud could take place during the over-the-top rope battle, as the best in the world is also set to compete in the match.